Nobody expected Meghan Markle to unravel her own story, not on that stage, not in front of the cameras, and definitely not with a single line that would send the internet spiraling. She stood there beneath the warm glow of spotlights, her voice soft but sure, painting a picture of motherhood and healing. 5 years ago was a very different time for all of us, she said. Archie was so little, and I had just gotten pregnant with Lily. The crowd smiled, charmed by her calm elegance. But somewhere across millions of screens, people froze. Wait, what did she just say? Because if you've ever paid attention to timelines, that sentence didn't just sound off, it collapsed the whole fairy tale. Archie was born in 2019. Lilibet arrived in 2021. 5 years before that moment on stage would point back to 2019, the same year Archie was born. So, how could Meghan Markle have been pregnant with her second child while still adjusting to royal life with her first? The math didn't add up, and suddenly, neither did the story. For a split second, you could almost see it, the flicker in her expression when the words left her mouth. It wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't royal. It was raw. But for a woman who built her entire image around precision and polish, that one unscripted moment felt like truth leaking through the cracks. Because if there's one thing mothers never forget, it's the timeline of their own children. The due dates. The cravings. The nights they couldn't sleep. You don't confuse those things, not unless the story itself has been rewritten one too many times, and that's where this entire mystery begins. Meghan Markle didn't just misspeak, she broke character. For years, her narrative has been curated, staged, edited for emotion and applause. But this time, her own words betrayed the illusion. When she smiled through that speech, she wasn't just sharing a memory, she was performing one. Look closer at the facts. Archie Harrison was born May 6, 2019. Meghan and Prince Harry stepped back from royal life in late 2019, the pandemic hit in 2020. Lilibet Diana was born June 4, 2021. Every detail neatly filed. Every timeline recorded in royal archives. So how does a mother misplace 2 years of her own story? Simple, when the story stops being lived and starts being crafted, because for Meghan, every sentence is a scene, every appearance a script. The audience sees warmth, empathy, grace. But behind the camera, insiders whisper about a woman constantly editing her own truth, shaping every interview, every anecdote, until reality fits her ideal. So when that 5 years ago line slipped out, it wasn't confusion, it was exhaustion. A performer forgetting which version of her story she was telling that night, and if you think that's harsh, remember, this isn't the first time her truth has wobbled under pressure. Just before that same event, Meghan Markle told reporters she had flown from Paris back to California just to spend the night with her children. Admirable, right? A devoted mother crossing continents for bedtime cuddles. But insiders whispered something colder. The kids weren't waiting at home, the nannies were, according to sources close to the couple. Prince Harry spends far more time doing the real parenting, bedtime, breakfast, park visits, while Meghan's time at home often feels more like photo opportunities than motherhood. Carefully staged snapshots in golden hour lighting. The birthday cakes, the reading time pictures, the matching outfits. Moments that feel more like set design than family life. Even Lady Colin Campbell, never one to hold her tongue, put it bluntly. There's a lot to be said for a narcissistic parent, she said. The involved ones do more damage than the absent ones. And as sharp as those words sound, they hit something uncomfortable. Because when you look at Meghan's motherhood moments, they always come with the same props, lighting, designer dresses, professional photographers, but rarely any authenticity. It's almost poetic, in a way. A woman who once begged for privacy now performs it for applause. The same person who condemned the tabloids for intrusion now invites the world to watch her healing journey on stage. The same duchess who said she wanted to live quietly in Montecito keeps finding her way back to microphones and flashing cameras, and the timing of this latest speech? Perfectly cinematic. Paris fashion events, New York galas, and then Washington, each one designed to position Meghan Markle not as a royal, but as a global icon of empowerment. But the cracks always appear in the smallest details. The wrong year. The wrong tone. The wrong truth. So when she said she was pregnant with Lilibet while Archie was so little, it wasn't just a factual mistake, it was a narrative one. The kind that shatters the illusion she's worked so hard to build. Because to the public, a duchess can misspeak. But to her critics, it's confirmation that every story, every tear, every confession might just be another version of a role, and maybe that's why that line hit so deep. It wasn't about the baby or the date. It was about the realization that the story of Meghan Markle, the mother, the wife, the icon, might not be one story at all, but several, overlapping, shifting, rewritten whenever needed. As she walked off that stage to polite applause, the cameras caught her smile again. Polished. Composed. But if you looked closely, You could almost see it, the weight of the performance. Because truth has a way of slipping out, no matter how many times you rehearse the lines. By the time Meghan Markle stepped onto that Washington, D.C. stage, the cracks were no longer invisible, they were spreading. You could feel it in the air, that uneasy silence between the polite applause and the shifting seats. She arrived with the same grace she's known for, the sleek hair, the diamond glow, the Duchess confidence, but there was something off this time. Something almost rehearsed to exhaustion. The words flowed, the smile held, but the energy? It felt borrowed. Behind the curtain, whispers said the event was meant to be her big, reclaiming moment. The world would see Meghan Markle, not as the royal rebel, not as the Netflix star, but as the powerful humanitarian she's always wanted to be. But when the speech started, it didn't land the way she imagined. The crowd's warmth faded into polite quiet. Cameras kept flashing, but the magic was gone. And when the clip hit the internet hours later, the audience didn't focus on her message, they dissected her delivery. People noticed the same thing, she wasn't speaking to them anymore. She was performing at them. Like a woman desperate to redirect the spotlight before it moves on. Then came the biggest red flag of all, the repetition. Viewers compared her recent words about financial literacy for young girls to an older panel from 2021, where business mogul Melody Hobson had said nearly the same thing. The phrasing, the rhythm, even the metaphors. Almost identical. Only this time, they were coming from Meghan's mouth, rebranded in her Duchess tone. Our unwillingness to talk about money widens the gaps in society, Hobson once said. 4 years later, Meghan declared, our unwillingness to discuss finances is causing us to widen the gaps in our communities. Side by side, the clips looked like mirror images, one original, one imitation. And that's when even her supporters hesitated. Because it wasn't just about plagiarism. It was about pattern. The same habit of taking moments, timelines, emotions, phrases, and polishing them until they gleamed like her own. Think back to her "I cried before the red carpet" story. The way she described palace cruelty, private suffering, public grace. Now notice how that same story shape repeats, just with new costumes, new backdrops. The Paris detour to see the kids. The 5 years ago pregnancy slip. The financial empowerment speech. Every act follows the same script: pain, redemption, applause. Except now, the applause sounds hollow, because once an audience starts catching the edits, the illusion can't survive. And on that Washington stage, the illusion broke. The host, Alison Chantel, ended the conversation abruptly, cutting Meghan off mid-thought. On video, it looked subtle. In person, it felt cold. A handshake, a smile, and Meghan Markle left standing under the lights, blinking like someone who just missed their final cue. The footage went viral for all the wrong reasons. Some viewers laughed. Others winced. And within hours, the hashtags started flying, hashtag Duchess of Delusion, hashtag Timeline Gate, hashtag Speech Reboot. Even her choice of accessory sparked outrage, that Dior tote stamped DS, short for Duchess of Sussex. For a woman once begging to be treated as more than her title, she seemed unwilling to ever let it go. And that's the irony, isn't it? Meghan Markle keeps saying she wants to move on, to build a new identity outside the palace walls. Yet every move circles back to the same royal shadow. Every speech, every brand deal, every headline, all orbit around what she's running from. A rebel princess forever tied to the crown she claims to reject. Insiders say Prince Harry sees it too. That quiet frustration that never makes it to the camera. He plays the role of loyal partner, smiling on cue, but behind the scenes, he's tired. Tired of the branding, tired of the performances, tired of being the co-star in someone else's narrative. He's the one reportedly grounding their children's lives, the playground dad, the bedtime reader, while Meghan is constantly building the brand. And maybe that's why the cracks keep showing. Because when a story depends on control, it collapses the moment truth walks in uninvited. For years, Meghan Markle has been the author of her own myth, a woman wronged, then redeemed, then reborn. But myths aren't built to last under scrutiny. And now, the audience is starting to read between the lines. What they see isn't malice, it's exhaustion. A performer who's lost track of the versions she's told. Who can no longer tell where the fairy tale ends and reality begins. Who's so used to directing the lens that she doesn't notice when it turns back on her, when that 5 years ago line escaped her lips. It wasn't just a timeline mistake. It was symbolic. The moment the story started telling itself. Because lies can be managed, image can be crafted, but truth? Truth is impatient. It waits in silence, it leaks through smiles, it echoes in slips of memory. So as she walked off that Washington stage, that smile still fixed, the cameras still flashing, the illusion finally felt tired. The internet didn't need palace statements or tabloid theories anymore. Her own words had done the work, and that's where the story lands. A woman who once mastered perception now trapped inside it. Every correction becomes another headline. Every silence becomes another theory. Every authentic speech becomes another performance. Meghan Markle, the storyteller of her own legend, is now watching the plot unravel in real time, because in the end, no amount of perfect lighting can hide the flicker of truth. And when the truth finally steps into the spotlight, even the best performance has to end, curtain down, applause fading, image cracking, reality taking its bow.